Okay, back to my wood shop out here on the porch. This is the first piece. It's going to be 33 by 3. This is the part I want with the big edge. So this is what I've done. I'm clamping it to the edge here. It should clear. I think I'll bring it out a little more to make sure it clears underneath. So you don't hit that. It's easier to chop this off using the chop saw. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this part to about there, and then cut it nice and straight. Otherwise, I'd just have this piece to cut. 6 one, half the other. I prefer to do it this way. I got more meat sitting here to clamp it down. So this is the one part. I'm using the skill saw, the 62 blade. This is the part where I would prefer to use a little 18-volt cordless one, but mine's, so I need to get another one of those. Right now I got this saw. I would have thought about it. I think it's time to go to eBay and get another one. I'm pretty sure I destroyed it. I'm gonna check into that. I could use it for this trim. It works great for trimming little pieces like this. Okay. Of course, as I'm doing that, table saw would be better. Actually, I have a table saw. I'm just too lazy to go pull it out. It was occurring to me that 3 inches looks good over there, but what about over here? Boy, that's going to be tight. Yeah, I remember this wasn't straight. So this piece actually should be angled. Well, it's too late on that one. I done cut it already, so let's chop it and see how it looks. I got a feeling I'm going to have to sacrifice another one to get that to fit right. I'm trying to fit this before I put the underlayment on there. I guess I need to put the full plank in there too to see what exactly I'm doing here. Okay, having realized I screwed up, always take your time to do the first one. It cannot be emphasized enough. So what we have to deal with here, it's really off quite a bit more. And the way you set that is, I want my 1/4 inch spacer there, put a spacer there. I had a spacer over here, but guess what? In order for these to be flush, and that's what you want, you got to put those on there so they're straight. And look at this. So I'll make sure you got a gap to the farthest one over, which turns out to be over here. So the farthest spot on this wall, because it's not straight. So if I put a gap, a 1/4 inch in there, this one appears to be good all the way down the rest of the way. But without putting these on here, it's got a big gap. When I first put this one in here, I thought, okay, no big deal, just got to move it out a little bit from over there. But now, in order for me to get this straight, and if you don't get this one straight, it's going to throw the whole works off. So this first row is the critical one. Looks like I'm just going to have to put some 1/4 round base trim. It's going to be close. But really no choice, because in order to get this one straight and that whole line straight, which means the rest of them will all be straight, there won't be any gaps, this is the way it's got to go. I've got it shimmed over here, got it shimmed down the end over there so that it's all straight. So the flooring has to be straight. Your walls, rarely you're going to find straight walls in houses these days. So now I have to come back here. I should have did this to start with, but I jumped the gun. So now I can take this piece out and measure, and I actually want it up to the edge here, up catched in there. And I'm going to do something at this edge. I'm not sure, but I want to tape that off. When I put the underlayment on there, I'm going to tape it over. So I don't want any water to get up in there, and this thing leaks right now. I have to fix I got to fix up there where it's dripping out here on the porch. And make sure it's got a little lip awning thing to keep it dripping out there, but I got to dry in this whole porch. There's more to be done there too. We'll get to that later. But so now I can measure. This is where this has to be set by that all the way down there. Now I can measure this and cut me another one, and oh well, sacrifice this one. Let's see if I can find another piece to, I can use that for something maybe. Alright, there's my my mistake. Alright, let's measure this up. Yeah, I want to verify my width, so 33 is good. If it was all the way up where it belonged, it would be up there. More accurately, it'll end up being like this. When it's cut, it'll be up in here like that. Actually, that's a little too far out. I may add just a smidge to the 33, but I'm going to bring it back about, let's say, 1/4 inch. Okay, we'll do that. I'll add a, what, 1/8 of an inch? So that's 4/8, so that'll make that 5/8. And the ends are going to be different. You got to remember, you got to measure to the edge where it goes. So back 1/4 inch. See, this one's actually, 3's not bad. A fat 3. I don't know. 3 looked like it was too far. I'm thinking 3 1/8. 3 1/8. 3 1/8. Now, does this have a nice steady transition? Oh, that looks like 3 1/8 too. No, it isn't. It's not 3 1/4. Only 1/8 of an inch difference. That's weird. Looks like it's more than that. Well, let me look at that a little bit. Yeah, no, it's taking a long time. Actually, looks like that's going to be 3 1/8. This is where the line is here. I move that up 1/8. This one looks more like 3/8. I'll bring it out. 3/8 will bring it out closer up to there. All right. So that's what we're going to do. I think that's enough of a solid transition that we should be good. Okay, well, this is where being a perfectionist becomes kind of a curse more than a blessing. So anyway, I cut that. And it's not quite perfect. This looks good. So I got whatever that measurement is there, 1/2 inch I think it is. When I came down here, you can see the edge is not quite right. So I've measured back 1/2 inch and do a line. I'm going to attempt to trim this piece back to that point so that it's going to match. Going to match the setback from here. It may not match perfectly on the wood, but it'll be a little better. So whatever I do at the end here, even if I may just put a bead of silicone or something, I have to come up with something to go over there. I'm not sure what yet. that will at least give me a uniform edge. Okay. Okay, as predicted, my little wood edge isn't quite perfectly the same, but I got the same setback from there now. So, here we have that. I'm set up to go on the first row now. So at this point, I shall put down the underlayment and probably glue it down this edge over here. And before I do that, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, final step before putting down the underlayment is bug killer. So, pulling up the laminate floor at the other place, I noticed all those little ants trails underneath it. So, I'm going to have to let this dry, but I'm going to spray the edge over here, around all my edges. I'll come back and, well, I'll just do all of it. All the edges I get to here. Even though I've got them mostly sealed up. Yeah, a little bit all over. Alright, mostly along the edges. Give that a little bit to dry. And then we get to putting our underlayment down. Alright, there's the first piece. I'm going to go ahead and start with my flooring. It'll help hold that down. When I get to putting more on there right now, I'm going to leave it out there until I know how far to go. I'm not going to worry about duct taping the edges. Oh, the mosquitoes are killing me in here. You know. So I've sprayed all bug spray around the edges. And that'll get some quarter round or some kind of trim on there. Probably quarter round because that's what I pulled out of the other one. Alright, let's begin our first course, as you would say. Alright, there is the first and most important first course. That big gap over there, but it's got to be straight. Just remember when you come down to the end over here, you stick it up in there, it's going to overlap over here. Measure that distance at overlap, but you got to remember you cut that side off because this has to hook up. And I had a 1/4 inch spacer in here. I do have the fancy tool. I got to figure out what I took, where I put it. It's got a little hook on one end and a hook pointing up the other direction, so you can lay it over the end over here, and then it sticks up here so you can take a hammer and push it together. When you're putting the other ones in this way, points you have to watch out are their split lines. Unfortunately, with it not being straight like that, I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of a shim to take up this spot. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that since that one's not right hard up against it. Same with over here. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on them. Otherwise, they'll push that way. And this, of course, is good up against there. All right, next one's got a shorty, and then a long one, so that the cracks are in the middle. And I'll do a couple more rows and see how we go. Oh yeah, okay. So next one's a shorty. Got a little damage there, but you know what? This is going to get stomped on. It's going to get more damage. I'll probably put a rug there or something anyway. So when you put the next one in, you put them in angled in so they get in that little groove, and you set them down right next to that groove. So you want it, I want to do a little maneuver, and you want to make sure this whole thing is, you know, in there, and then you're going to tap it from the end to go into this little slot, and then you kind of tap it that way and tap it that way, and see this? It's already pushing on there. I've already pushed it out, so I got to get something up in there to pin those spots. I better do that. Apparently I'm going to have to. Well, we'll see. I might be able to menang it around. We'll see. If not, I'll have to shim those spots up. And once I get more and more of those in there, that'll become less of an issue because they'll be pushing on the straight lines. Alright, let's see what happens here. One more thing. So, you want to get it up into that groove. Tap it down in there. When you're tapping, I'm using a dead blow hammer. You got to be careful. You only get the top edge because you'll bash that mating edge right there, and those two need to lock together. So you can get it to work a little easier if you just pick this up a little bit. So there won't be as much friction on it. Now, I got a pry on that over there, and then you tap it and it'll pop in as long as you got something on the end holding it. I definitely need to pry something on there to get this pushed back out. Okay, just about got that. Still got just a teeny bit. I'm gonna leave that right now. Take it a little farther on, and you got to be careful, like I said. I tapped that a little bit. But best thing is to get a piece of something. See, this one's got a little cutaway. That'll actually work very good. Because you want to get. In fact, I'm going to cut that away a little more, so that I can just set this flush to the floor and tap on it that way, and it won't bash the edge. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm just going to keep on going. Okay, we're cruising into the evening now. Cruising right along. I'm lining them up over here with the same space along the wall. Also gives me a chance to tap them that way if I need to. Alternating one solid one short one solid one short one. For some reason I got a bunch of them that are not quite 2 feet. I don't know what happened there. I guess they were cut to fit, but not all perfect. Anyway, so you gotta wedge them in there, tap them in that way. And what I'm using, this has worked out for a while. I cut this one back, but now the little edge part's starting to dive up under there, so I'm just putting it on top of the little parts there on the end. And I'll get them in. I get them about right alongside each other, and then okay, I'll show you this next one. Tap them on in, and I'll get on top of them on the other side and tap them in. And another instance of things working out. This is pretty weird. I haven't cut any of these to length. You see, this one's just a teeny tad longer where it is. The other ones are cut back just a wee bit. But I haven't cut any of these. These are all, I don't know what it is, four boards across, so 3 full boards and one cut in half. One half on that side, one half on this side. Trim them back to fit right there, but these are coming out right along here without having to trim anymore. This is a full length. That's 4 full length boards across, so that's working out just delightful. I got one more course to go there, and then I got to start cutting them shorter. Move pretty quick once you get going here. Notice I got different kind of underlayment. See, if you put them right next to each other, that's got to go in there, so you got to keep an eye on that. I'm taking my little board here, sticking it on that edge, gently kind of, I'm reaching out with my left hand here. I'm going to do it that way. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Got to hold that one down. You get this in like that into the groove. You got to hold that one down. I tap over here. It's starting to come out a little bit, so I'm going to tap on that one a little bit. Once it pops in there, it'll go easier that way. Now that's already started, so I can hang on to my board over here. hang on my board over here. Put it on the little edge. Look down there, you can kind of hear it when it changes. It gets to the closed part, and then you got nice and closed. And that'll take one more full board out to the end there, which is really handy. And this is the last leg for these boards though. Same thing's going to be there, and you'll see it's going to come out just about even. Oh, watch one more. You can see that. And she's there. High spot over here. Oh well. Alright, that's it for this course. See where that ends up. So I won't be putting anything in there. The next one's going to be cut right up to there. And if I close that bar back in, it'll take up the room on that. As you can see, these are all parallel straight, and that is not even. So the wall and the inside parts, nothing's parallel, perpendicular, whatever, level, square. No need. Floating floor in the middle, it's going to look just fine. Alright, I'm going to keep cruising. Well, maybe. I got to put some more on the laminate on here. I think I'll do one more course, get to the point where I got to cut this stuff, and since it's Mosquito City out, and that'll probably call it for the night. Come back in the morning. I remember if I covered before, when you put new underlayment, I just lay it side by side, right next to each other, and just duct tape it together. So it just seals up. And then I need to put a little piece there. You want to seal up all the holes. Anything you tear, you want some taped up. A couple little spots as I finish my last row for the day. It's funny, I'm walking around on here and delicately, it feels soft. It's like, ah man, the floor's still soft, but you know, the floor is not soft. It's this foam that's under there, and this floor is soft. It's neat, man. It's nice. Got a nice little bounce to it. It's wild. Looking good. Alright. Alright, there we have it. That's as far as I can go tonight without waking up the neighbors. Start tomorrow by cutting little pieces. It's not going to be all nice and smooth sailing. I have to cut all these things now. I was going to rip this thing out of here, but for now, I guess I'll just go around it. Alright. Call it a day. Not too bad. Took a while to get going, but should have this finished up tomorrow. Okay, till then. Okay, we have come to the last run. So what we're going to do over here, I went ahead and managed to undercut this thing over here too. It's a pain in the butt. So what you got to do, you got to make sure you get the right side. So you're going to be cutting off the big side this time. I have some of those already. So distance in here is a pain in the butt. 4 3/4 inches. So 4 1/2. You want to cut them 4 1/2. You want that 1/4 inch in there. And we're going to need that 1/4 inch. If I put some of those little pieces of laminate in there to pry them in. Get them to go all the way in anyway. This one over here is going to be tricky. It's going to be a long one. So 4 1/2 inches there. just because I knew better. Yeah, looks like 4.5 inches is gonna work. Hope we won't have to trim anything down. There, we're gonna have to trim it back a little bit. We're losing 1/4 inch on this end. Anyway, I should have some that I pulled off the other place. Let's go have a look. Okay, I happen to have 3 4-foot pieces that have been trimmed on that edge already, and a 2-footer. See, the edge has been cut off. And the short edge. So I'm looking pretty good. I'll just need one more 2-foot trim down. And that'll be that. But being it's dark outside, I don't have an indoor place to cut anything. I gotta do these with a skill saw. That is going to be left up for tomorrow. Pretty good progress though today, despite the fact that I almost didn't make it in alive. But that's another story. Well, luck's holding out. Had my steering linkage separate on me coming off the interstate. No steering at all. And luckily I was able to get off the side of the road. The nuts had backed off. Said we'll put it back together. It took me about an hour and a half. So my luck is still holding. And as far as this living room floor goes, I was able to transfer it from one to the other. We're almost there. And then I gotta see what to do about this side. Alright, that is it for tonight on this. Okay, after I'm down to the last part where I'm actually going to need this, I found my pull bar. If this works, I'm going to put these in. That gets set down along the edge, and you tap on that end there. Pull it in. You can look at that. Apparently I need to straighten mine up. I guess I've used this quite a bit. But the beauty part is there won't be any kind of fancy edge on it. It's going to be a straight cut off edge, so it'll go right on there just fine. See, it's got these little cushioning things on there. Alright, so let's get to it. I'll cut these things and get them going. And once again, I would recommend getting a cordless skill saw to do this. Oh, I'm out of whack. Look at that. Just remember you measure from the correct side. This is the side that's got to be stuck into the existing flooring, and so you're cutting off this edge. 4 1/4 inches. Okay. Alright, the way this works, you pop it down on the edge over there. Usually don't need it, but I'm using my 28-ounce framing hammer because it's a little easier to wield. So if you need to, since I'm doing it one-handed here, basically do that, and that'll pull it in. That tongue basically pulled in anyway, so on to the next one. See, maybe we'll get to use it there. In this case, how far I'm going with this one, since I'm in the blind corner over there, you basically put something out here, and the same with all these when you're putting those short ones in, or when you're putting them up against the wall, you basically just line up the cracks, man. In this case, I have hit something hard in the corner. I wasn't able to get that very corner cleared out all the way, so I'm off by whatever it is, 3/8 of an inch. So. But all the way, all my lines, every other one should be lined up. I put some 2 feet in right in the center of the board, so everything is locked in as tight as it's going to go that way. Okay, measure this next one. I got a pretty good gap in here. You can tell the difference. I'm going to have to widen it up a little bit. Well, I'll be covered up by face molding anyway. And of course, I'm using my 4-foot level carpet as a straight edge. Things are great. Alright. Cruising along. Always nice to have a little fire going in the background. Getting rid of all the junk. Anyway, back to here. Okay, so here you can actually use the tool. It's got all banged up somewhere, but still using my wood block over here on top of the, so we don't pick up that edge. And then that's the way it's supposed to work. Supposed to pull it in. So these end pieces, I don't know how messed up they are. Anyway, it'll take me both hands, I think, on this thing to. You can see why that thing gets bent up. Okay, I think I can pick this up a little bit, and you pick it up, it'll go in a little better. Yeah, I'll go in there. Just a couple more taps. The interesting thing on this last piece that I'm putting in, it's 7 inches long by 6¼ inches wide. I made my 7-inch cut. Because it's so short, I can do this whole thing on my chop saw. Measure my 6¼ and I'll be able to just cut this baby right on in there. What the heck, you want to see? Just a little bit more. Can I do it with my foot? Probably not. I'm going to put my hand over here and whack that sucker. Like so. But since I don't have 3 arms, so that should be my last piece. Should go in there like that. Let's see how it goes. If I did this right. You gotta keep telling yourself which end goes where. You gotta have enough room to get in behind that. Ooh, baby. Now this is where this thing is pretty much a must. Just gotta make sure that gets lined up. That slot right here. That drops over there. Boom. I don't know what the deal with these edges are. The last few I did, the edges are all getting hunkied up. But there, it's in there. There we have it. There's the last piece to our floor. I gotta see about putting the trim around the outside, pulling those little spacers I got all over the place. Decide what I'm gonna do over here. And go from there. Start moving in.